Next up, we have Maybe a Girl. She is a Silver Lake neighborhood councilwoman, and she's also the first drag queen elected to public office in the United States. Maybe, it is great to have you.
Hey, everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here for the People's Convention. Thanks so much for having me here. My name is Maybe a Girl, and I'm the first drag queen elected to public office in the United States. In early 2019, I was elected to the Silver Lake Neighborhood Council in Los Angeles, and I'm currently serving as the treasurer and co-chair of both the Budget and Finance Committee and the LGBTQIA Advocates Committee. I also ran for the U.S. House of Representatives this election cycle in California's 28th Congressional District and came within 1,100 votes of advancing to the general election. We lost by less than 1%. Representation is so important in our governments on every level, from municipal to state to federal. That's part of the reason why I ran against establishment Democrat Adam Schiff this year for a seat in Congress. I'm a trans feminine, non-binary person, and I want to ask you how we can expect people like you or me to be fairly represented in our government when there's no one like you or me in our government. Just 2 weekends ago, 3 trans women were brutally attacked in Hollywood. It was all caught on film. It was clearly a hate crime. Public officials made sure to be there for the news announcement of an arrest in the case. But a week later, when the case was dropped by the DA and the criminals were released, our same elected officials were nowhere to be found to demand justice. This is unacceptable and an inaccurate reflection of our values and ideals. I'm sure you've all noticed that the two-party system is not working for everybody. In fact, it's only working for corporate America and the wealthy elites. Big business doesn't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, because big business knows that leaders of both parties are working to enhance the corporate agenda rather than the agenda of the people. It's naive to believe that our elected officials will fight for Medicare for all when their donors are health insurers. It's foolish to believe that our elected officials care about housing justice when their donors are real estate developers. And it's incomprehensible that our elected officials will keep us out of war when their donors are weapons makers and principals of the military-industrial complex. It's time to disband the dysfunctional two-party system that perpetuates greed and corporate influence in American politics. It's we, the people, that hold the power, and the elite are doing everything they can to make sure that we don't realize that. True progress for the people cannot be achieved until we form our own party, a party that finally serves the interests of real people like you and me. Let this be the last time that we vote blue, no matter who, which ultimately enables the status quo to rob the poor and the sick and incarcerate and kill people of color. We have the opportunity to create a new America, one in which every person has access to healthcare, education, housing, and dignity. I am so proud to support the movement for a People's Party, and I cannot wait to see the people rise up. Please join the movement and demand more of our government. Black Lives Matter, and I yield my time. Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. And I wanted to share that because I had literally never heard of her. And I pride myself on trying to pay attention to all of these like fringe candidates that are left, on the left and are really, and especially since she was running against Adam Schiff, I just can't believe I didn't know about that. Like, he's a mainstream Democrat, always on Rachel Maddow's show, Russiagator, kind of type. Like, that's how he rose to his claim to fame, is through Russiagate, essentially. And this was a real, progressive, real lefty running against him. I wish she was 1,000 votes away from getting into the general election. And I think she would have had a real shot against Adam Schiff. So I think that whenever you put up a proper lefty against one of these corporate back candidates, establishment candidates, you have a real shot to win. And I just think that's beautiful that when she talks about representation, I sometimes don't focus enough on the importance of that, but it's because, representation is extremely important. It's just that we have to recognize that inside of representation, it's not just the sort of surface level identity per se that is important. That is important. Trust me, that is important. But it's not just the surface level identity, or whatever we want to call that. I don't have a name for it. It's also the class identity that matters. So yes, I want representation from folks from Indigenous and Black, and from Black folks, women, gay people, trans people. I want representation, native, foreign born people. I want representation from all of these groups. I want, different religious backgrounds, but I want secularism, but I want, representation at least from these groups. So I want all, I understand the importance and the significance of getting representation, and the representation that she's talking about is an actually valuable representation. And it's not just a, surface level identity representation. It's also the class representation. And so I was, just really encouraged by her speech there, and wanted to just highlight it because it was a good clip, and also hopefully raise some attention and some awareness of her, run for Congress, and hopefully she runs again. I also got the detail wrong. She was the first drag queen elected to public office in the country, period, which is amazing. So that's like, I didn't know that. That's just wild to me. And so, kudos and just congratulations on that. And hopefully I'm really rooting for her. I'll be following her race next time. I hope that she'll run. I'll be supportive. She'll be getting a, recurrent donation from me the way that I do I got recurrent donation set up to a bunch of people, even if it's a few dollars a month. I try to, set up and give where I can. If I can't give my time, I try to give a few dollars if I can. Support the folks, support whatever causes you believe in. Support the causes you believe in. Thanks for watching Radical Democracy Podcast. I'm your host, Kahmali Rose. Please like and share this video, subscribe to the channel, and if it doesn't bother you, hit that bell below to receive notifications whenever we go live or launch a new video. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below, and if you can afford it, do me a huge favor and head over to my Patreon at patreon.com/radicaldemocracy and throw me a few bucks. Whatever you can afford, it goes a long way, and I will greatly appreciate it. It helps the channel to continue to exist and to grow, and I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. All right. Peace. All right, that was a good one. That one's it.